lost on the way. There was nothing to do and nowhere to run. There was nothing that I could say. Dust in my eyes enough to tell me what to do. And the bullet you left in my thigh, well, I'm giving it back to you. It wasn't always that easy, no, it wasn't always that slow. I just thought you'd like to know this time. I just thought you'd like to know. Tell your mother what you did to me that day. Or when she asked you where you found success, did you simply turn away? I'm coming for you now, and I'm coming for her too. When you're in the ground, well, maybe I'll be done with you. It wasn't always that easy, no, it wasn't always that slow. And when the gun was cocked and when the bullet was set, well, there was nowhere left to go. It wasn't always that easy, no, it wasn't always that slow. I just thought you'd like to know this time, I just thought you'd like to know. And was I wrong? Was it faded from the start, or did I stand the chase at all? Here I wait inside a bar for that crowd radio and a file, and he's coming for me now. Oh, he's coming for her too. And when you're in the ground, well, then we'll still have close left that we can do, that we can do, that we can do. The dust in my eyes enough to tell me what to do. And the bullet you left in my thigh, well, I'm giving it back to you. It wasn't always that easy, no, it wasn't always that slow. I just thought you'd like to know this time, I just thought you'd like to know. Stay here on the ground, it's overrated. The cityscape escapes you with a sound. It's delineated, I waited at the station for an hour, but I won't make it. You take off on an uptap by the tower, and you overtake it every moment. I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, I can't tell you why, oh Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. I Maybe can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. Written in the back of my old diary, I gotta break sometime. It's underlined and red, scrawled across the screen beneath the spidering. I gotta break sometime. I left it all unread. And the more I know, the less I seem to care. Weighted down by everything and falling through the air. And the more I hold, the less that I can bear. But hey, I gotta break sometime. Cracked inside a kiln between the firing. I gotta break sometime. You blazed it anyway. Screamed across the city from a windowsill. I gotta break sometime. That's all you had to say. But the more I know, the less I seem to care. Weighted down by everything and falling through the air. And the more I hold, the less that I can bear. But hey, I gotta break sometime. Written in the back of my old diary, I gotta break sometime. It's underlined and red, scrawled across the screen beneath the spidering. I gotta break sometime. I left it all unread. Cracked inside a kiln between the firing. I gotta break sometime. You blazed it anyway. Screamed across the city from a windowsill. I gotta break sometime. That's all you had to say. And the more I know, the less I seem to care. And the more I hold, the less that I can bear. And the more I know, the less I seem to care. For something, how can you ever stand it all? And baby, if you're built on sand, you'll be swept back by the fall. Baby, if you don't stand for something, how can you ever hope to hold the weight of everything you hold? Maybe if you build your house on sand, you can burrow the deeper. Maybe it would cave on you alone. So I did, I tried, I swear I did. Times to let it lie, 1,000 times to let it lie. Swear I did, I tried, I swear I did. 1,000 times to let it lie, 1,000 times to let it lie. Baby, if you don't stand for something, how could you ever hope to hold the weight of everything you hold? Maybe if you show them all your hand, you can iron the creases. Maybe you can take it back and forth. You said it was all in the ether. Ain't something you said you could feed her. She said she was nothing but eager. Then you said, she said that you couldn't believe her. Ain't something you said you could feed her. She said it was all just a leader. Then you said, you swear I did, I tried, I swear I did. 1,000 times to let it lie, 1,000 times to let it lie. Swear I did, I tried, I swear I did. 1,000 times to let it lie, 1,000 times to let it lie. Try, I
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Season 15 of the ZRL Galaxy Tour. My name is Shim. I'm going to be your host for tonight's race. As always, tonight we have an incredibly special race for you all. We've got actually two races for everyone tonight. It's two races at the mountain. One of the most iconic tracks in all of motor racing, Australia's Mount Panorama in Bathurst, is probably one of the most iconic road racing tracks in the world. Known for its high speeds and deadly mountain section, drivers have always been pushing the limit to try and get the best lap times here at the mountain. And that'll be what our drivers are trying to do today, being crowned the king of the mountain. We've got two races for you all tonight. The first race is going to be, and I want to make sure I get this correct, there's going to be two races tonight. They're just going to be 30-minute races. There's going to be a 10-minute quali before race one and a 10-minute quali before race one and a 15-minute qualifying before race two. So drivers will still have to qualify for, excuse me, drivers will still have to qualify for both races. Races are going to be 30 minutes though with no pit stops. And both of them will be in the afternoon. So it's going to be really cool to see how our drivers tackle that today. But just some news in the championship is probably what is in store for us. In the championship so far, in our gold division, we have a fairly close battle between Christopher Larson and Jonathan Clifford up at the lead. They are currently 4 points away from each other. So Christopher Larson here on screen right now. And then Jonathan Clifford, who's actually got a better time out there in his Lamborghini Huracan right now. They're 4 points away, Larson leading with 85 points, Clifford with 81. Skylar Loverink right behind that with 75 after a poor showing in race one with an 8th place finish. He came back with a win last week at the Indy Road Course and has 75 points. Some news news for the season. We do have some drivers who have changed. They've changed classes. So one thing that we try to do is even out the classes partway through the season here at ZRL, just to make sure that the racing is fair and consistent. So two drivers have been moved up into the pro division. That's Lacoste and Wolf. So you can see them right there, both of them in the white pro division, the white labeled pro division. We also have a newcomer to our pro division, and that is Steve St-Ours. I'm maybe not saying that as much of a French accent as I should, but that's going to be the best we're going to get tonight. So welcome, Steve, to the ZRL community. In our silver division, we have Dale Rodman currently leading the championship after the switch around of all of the driver classes over the last race. Dale inherited the lead from everyone last race and ended up coming in first place at the Indy Road Course. So he currently has a P3 and a P1. Mega consistent from our friend Dale. Holds the lead by 12 points in the semi-pro championship. Jeff Collins and Chase Gordon tailing him. Hot on their trail too. We've got Kaylor Nicholson, Sean Collis, Matt Long, all within shooting range of those top three positions in our silver class. And last but not least, our rookie class, we've got Augustine Deppmeyer, who is currently leading the class. Sky Loverink with a 2-minute 0.8 there with the fastest lap of our practice session. One thing you can note there is it's a very hot practice session. 32 degrees Celsius, air temperature with a track of 41 degrees Celsius. That is mega hot. Hotter than I think most people were practicing this track at. So you can expect lap times to be a little bit higher here, considering what I know that some of these drivers can do. But Augustine Detmeyer here currently leading our rookie championship with a win in round one. Just hitting the wall there on the exit of Forced, or on the entrance of Forced Elbow. Behind him, though, is Shane Swearingen. He is currently sitting P2 in the championship. He's quite a ways down. He's got 13 points to go, but that's still within range there. Very close, though, between Shane, Dustin Reed, Rodney Easterling, Martin Mugarian, and Louis Sands, all, within 10 points of each other there. So a lot of movement could happen in our rookie class tonight. It all just depends. Ooh, and we've got somebody off the track there. I want to guess I know who that is. It was not correct, but it's our friend Glenn Pignot is safe out there, currently battling it out in the Ford Mustang there. That's going to be something that's interesting tonight, is how different cars react to this track, because it has a very tricky mountain portion, and that requires agility, but it also has the two incredibly long straights. That requires, oh goodness, that didn't look too good right there. I'm not gonna lie. The BMW there just turned right into him. That was unfortunate. Let's go to our friend Kyle Easton here. But anyway, with the two incredibly long straights, it's really a delicate balance between power and agility. The Ford Mustang actually could be quite powerful tonight in class because of how much get up and go it has down the straights. When I was over the last week, I've actually been testing this car myself, and I've been testing the Ford and the BMW myself, and I was able to get personal best with the help of our friend Christopher Larson. But more importantly, I was able to get fairly similar paces, or good lap times, in both the BMW and the Ford Mustang. A lot easier to do it in the BMW. The BMW is tuned better for all-around use at this track, but it doesn't have the same top speed, or speed in general, that the Ford has. So down the straights, I was able to gain a ton of time when in the Ford as compared to something like the BMW. So you're going to see a bit of that. Cars that are powerful down the straights, they're going to have a huge advantage if they get track position early on, because it's going to be incredibly hard to pass at this track, as it always is, especially when you're on top of the mountain. You're almost never going to see a pass. I guarantee somebody will try to do it tonight. Somebody will try for a crazy pass in the mountain section. I'm gonna call it here, but yeah, unless you have incredible top speed, you're really not gonna make any passes down the straights either here. So tough track. You need to qualify well if you want to really do well here at the mountain. So we'll have to see too. It'll be interesting if lap times continue to be high like this during the race. Like I said, most, if not all, of our drivers practice this in a more reasonable tire temperature, track temperature and air temperature. 23 degrees air, maybe 29 degrees track temperature. So we were able to get fairly optimum lap times with that. And with this higher temperature, you're going to see much higher lap times because of it. I know for a fact that Larson and even Loverink should be able to do faster laps than what they're showing right now, but track conditions as they are just makes it that much more difficult. But anyway, folks, hope you are all doing well tonight. If you like what we're doing here at ZRL, consider liking and subscribing this stream, and also subscribing to the ZRL channel, and also joining our Discord. It has a link on the home screen of our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to find the most up-to-date information on all things ZRL. And yeah, that's where you're going to be able to interact with the members of the team. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer. For this week especially, I want to, again, shout out our practice club for the awesome work that they do. Shout out to Lenny Dijkstra and the team. Really, not only for the drivers, but for my personal gains as a driver as well. The practice club has been invaluable over the last week. I think I shaved 3 seconds off my lap time here at this track by working with the practice club for a couple hours. And I was able to get my personal bests. So if you are a part of ZRL and you're maybe watching this video, or you're a sim racer that wants to improve, consider joining our practice club. We'd love to help. Myself or other drivers included, we really want to help see other people succeed. And so if you want to get better and faster, come on in and we'll do our best to help facilitate that. This is actually really interesting here. You can see this is Loverink and Larson duking it out in practice. Down the mountain section they go. Awfully wobbly. Larson just chasing Loverink here. I think Larson knows he can do a faster time than Loverink. It's just a matter of getting some clear air here in the practice session. I'd love to see how this turns out. Down the straight they go. Loverink giving Larson a tow. And I think he had to back off a little bit there, just because he was getting too close. But I think that gives Larson all the ammunition he needs to know that he can pass Loverink. On track, and a little bit of a weave there. Christian Dubé had an excellent battle with Kyle Easton last week at the Indy road course. So we'll see if they can get into another tussle tonight. I am curious. Let's look at the manufacturers of the cars here at the top. Got a lot of Ferraris that are doing fairly well, BMWs, Aston Martins, awfully strong down the straights. BMW is good all around, struggle a bit in the straights. I'm not really sure where the Mercedes fits in here at a track like this. I haven't tested the Mercedes, and I normally don't drive it because the Mercedes does Mercedes things, and I don't know, just can't figure it out. I can imagine the Porsche is not going to be the most powerful car tonight, but I think Dubé is going to be able to set a good time here. Couple McLarens in the middle there. I think the McLaren's not great in bumpy circuits, if I remember correctly. So this track being bumpy and cambered, I'm not sure it's going to do too well here tonight. See Glenn Pinio down there in the Ford. The leading Ford so far here in practice. He's going to hope for a good lap in qualifying. Somebody is about to cross the line. That's Christopher Larson. Let's see if he can get a better lap time here. And indeed he does. I kind of figured something like that might happen. He goes 0.2 faster in practice. I think that's just as much. That's just what Larson needs to really prove to himself that he's got the pace. Like I said, these lap times are about a second slower than what they're used to, just because of track temperature. 29 drivers currently in the server. Jeff Collins just joined, coming up the hill right now in the Bentley, our sole Bentley driver. Now, if I remember correctly, the Bentley itself was extremely powerful for a few seasons there at the beginning of ACC's life cycle. Now, I can imagine it's a little bit unique in the fact that it's a right-hand drive car. You have to judge things a little bit different. In some ways, it might be easier to judge because you're going to be closer to the walls up on the top of the mountain, so you can maybe judge that a little bit better. But at least for me, I mean, I only drive right-hand drive cars, so, or left-hand drive cars, so I guess for me, I've just grown accustomed to referencing the inside rather than the outside on this track. I'm interested to see what he's going to be able to do with the Bentley for his first lap here. Don't know if this is his hot lap. Larson with another fast lap, and that was with somebody holding him up a little bit in traffic. Yep, Collins, that was his out lap, so here's his first lap here. We'll come back to him and see how he does. Ooh, Martin Mugarian sending it into the barrier. See how our friend Lacoste is acclimating to how he's acclimating to the pro class here. One of our two drivers to move up. Now I find this track interesting in that it spreads the field out a lot more than other tracks when it comes to pace, because the more I did practice on this track over the last few weeks, the more I realized it's not so much that you can't do faster laps, it's just you may not know the secrets to the track. I worked with Larson for, like I said, a few hours last week. And there were so many small details about the track that gained me a tenth in almost every single turn. And those tenths added up to a couple seconds when it came to an overall lap time at this track. I went from 203s, 204s to 201s fairly consistently, 202s consistently, even getting a personal best of a 2-minute 0.9 in pretty optimal conditions. So it's not, and I wouldn't consider myself a fast driver. It's not, but it wasn't so much about doing much different. It was just learning a little bit of those intricacies of the track and exploiting that to your benefit. So qualifying will be starting up here shortly. Like I mentioned earlier, they're going to have a 10-minute qualifying before race 1, which is 30 minutes. Then 5-minute qualifying before another 30-minute race 2. And that will be tonight's agenda, as our friend Victor Pelor just catches the drift there in the McLaren. Currently sitting P5. And looking behind, number 96 car of Steve St. Ors. Going to be the last to draw across the line here. We'll follow him in. He crosses the line, actually goes faster than Clifford there. And and they should be moving into the next session. Looks like Kyle Easton's still out on track though, and they're not ending the session just yet. A few more turns for our Mercedes driver. Across the line he goes, and that will be the end of practice. Moving into now a 10-minute qualifying session. And we're going to follow our friend Christopher Larson on the first flying lap here. Let's get into the cockpit. Now, since I worked so much on this track with Larson over the last week, and actually let's just turn down the sound of the cockpit here. Welcome, Nacho. There are so many things that were pointed out to me by Larson about this track. One, the BMW itself, you don't want to go all out initially in this car. Also, there's a bump right there I never knew about because I was going too wide. I always knew you could take this this top of the mountain section flat. Larson might not do it here, and he does do it. A little bit of a lift there due to the conditions. And you can actually see a technique that Larson's doing, revving the engine, forcing the engine to do some braking there. And he does it during forced elbow there. A few tricks to help stabilize the car there with that engine braking. And then down the straight you go, down towards the chase. Don't want to go too wide in qualifying because it's just wasted time. You can brake fairly late there and trail brake into the left-hander there. Larson looking to heat up those tires a bit. Getting it rotated for the final corner. It's just a matter of putting all the steps together here. As you go down to turn 1, you're going to look for about 75 or that light post right there. Get into the camber of that turn. It's hard to see the camber, but it's there. It'll help you rotate the car. Going down the first straight. As they come down to the first straight, turn 2 is going to be fairly fast. Braking right after the access road there. And trail braking, trying to keep the speed up and use all of the road that you possibly can. The wall is the track limits. Moving all the way to the right, flat out through the kink. Up the mountain you go. Over that little bump, want to make sure the car's settled before you start then turning in up the mountain. Turning in a little early, or sorry, a little late there in order to get full max speed. You want to go flat out if you have the car tuned right there. Maybe a little lift up the hill there, turning in early. Ooh, a little dip in there. Engine braking. Engine braking. Rotating the car early down skyline. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I know exactly what his wing setting is, and Nacho, you're sadly not correct. I used his setup, unless he's changed it. I used his setup, and he does not have a low wing setting. Into the chase there, trail braking. Just want to get on the power as early as possible, brake as late as possible in this last section here. And it's a very tricky little last corner. Easy to mess up. I think that's going to be a good first lap. That's a 2-minute 0.7 for Christopher Larson. Scott Lovering behind him goes 0.3 slower. Jonathan Clifford 0.9 slower. Kaylor Nicholson was looking good in the in the Pro-Am class. About to see what he can do. I'm gonna level with him. I'm gonna level with you guys. Larson's wing setting is max for that BMW, unless he's changed it. His wing setting is max wing. I used his settings again. If he changed it, I used his setup. If he changed it, maybe he did something to it. I'm not sure, but I used a full wing setup for him, mostly for the mountain. It helps you up the mountain. Chase Gordon, fastest of our Pro-Am drivers. He's looking awfully good in that Aston Martin. Quick in a straight line, that car. Swearingen sets the fastest lap for that rookie class. Dubé improves his time. Matthew Reed gets a time. Wolf gets a time. Glenn Pinio gets a time in there. I know it's true though. He's using max wing. He's using max wing on that car. Again, he might come back to me and say that he's using something diff. Maybe he changed it. But as of 2 days ago, when I was racing with him last, that car was max wing. And it may be that he's going down the hill there. Oh, Matthew Reed just gets a little unsettled there. Kyle Easton goes 5th fastest. It may be that down the hill, like after the chase there, it could be that downhill portion just gives him that extra little speed to get up to that max. But speaking of like max speeds though, I think it's going to be really interesting to see a driver like Glenn Pinio here. We'll watch him go through. We'll go to his cockpit and see if we can get a speed from his car. Now I remember this Ford being awfully quick. He's already in 5th gear. 360 or 260, 70. And he probably could have gotten even higher. He could have gotten way higher than 285 there, I think is what I saw. You know, I will say the Ford felt better on this track than I was expecting it to. It still does Ford things, but given that this track is much more about momentum than it is about starting and stopping in a lot of areas, since it's more about momentum, you can maintain a lot of the speed in the Ford. Similar to a lot of cars, the big thing is just the handling. It handles like a boat still. And you're correct, the Ford is one of the fastest cars in the game right now. In a straight line. It's one of the fastest top speeds. You are correct. Looks like our Porsche drivers are struggling to get some representative lap times there. Fastest Porsche driver is our friend Dubé there with a 203.7. Loverink is just a bit behind Larson there, 204. 2 flat 0.4. Larson 2 flat 0.4, just a couple thousandths, couple hundredths faster. Looking like some close battles could be lining up here. Jonathan Clifford, 0.6 faster than Steve St. Ors. 0.2 faster than Victor Pelord there. Nick Mosley a 10th behind. Kyle Easton 3/10 behind. Kaylor Nicholson is looking awfully rapid in the BMW. He's only a 10th behind Kyle Easton in the pro class there. A good showing from our Pro-Am driver there. Qualifying is set to end here shortly. Looking at our personal best throughout the session here. We are currently done with qualifying. Clifford crossing the line. He's not going to improve. Behind him, we have a gaggle of cars here. Nick Mosley is in that pack there, as well as Shane Swearingen. Swearingen crosses the line. In our amateur class, it looks like Detmeyer is leading. Go to the car number. Yep, Detmeyer is leading our amateur class there. Easterling behind Reed and Swearingen. Ooh, gets a little bit wild down to Fort's elbow. Jeff Collins is in the pits. Let's see if we can find any other cars. Dustin Reed is out on track right now. 54 car of Chase Gordon coming in for his lap time here. Christopher Larson with a new fastest lap, goes a couple hundredths faster. Chase Gordon is able to improve, but he doesn't improve his position. We'll start P2 in that class. St. Urs is here with the number 5 of Dustin Reed in front of him. Dustin will cross the line first here as he comes down the second straight. Really, it's the third straight when you consider the front straight. And after turn 2, through the chase he goes. Down to the final turn. And he'll cross the line, and he will improve. Goes ahead of Easterling to take to P2. Behind him, Steve St. Urs will improve his time and moves up into P4. So great laps from everyone there. All right, everyone. So for race 1 here, we have got Christopher Larson on our front row, leading the pack with Skylar Loverink behind. Jonathan Clifford in P3, Steve St. Urs, Victor Pillard, Nick Mosley, Kyle Easton. Kaylor Nicholson will lead our Pro-Am division right there in the mix. Chase Gordon, Matthew Reed, Lacoste, Jeff Collins, Calvin Wolf, Maurer, Collis, Dubé, Lung, Rodman, Pinio, Gosh. Leading our amateur division is Augustine Detmeyer, with Dustin Reed lining up next to him. Easterling, Swearingen, Sands, Mugarian, Lynch, and last, but certainly not least, our friend Steve Young. Looks like they're going to have a full warm-up lap, and track temperatures are significantly cooler. It's about 4 or 5 degrees cooler than what they were before. Still looks like it's trending to be on the hotter side for today's races, but I can imagine, it's 5 p.m. Oh, and we have our friend into the pits there. Looks like something weird was happening there. All right, not sure what happened with our friend Young there. Looks like he may have had a disconnect. Came back into the race there. But it looks like they will have a full formation lap for our races today. It's a long formation lap, I'm not going to lie. A little surprised that we decided to do that tonight. Who's in charge here? Going to have to ring up Collis and Wolf. Give them a hard time. But with 2 races tonight, we're actually it's gonna be split points down the middle. So normally our races, whatever points our races normally get, half of those points will be given for the first race. Half of them will be given for the second race. All right, here we go for our full formation lap. Larson will lead the way. And here they all go on the warm-up lap. Larson letting some people catch up there. Single file line. Up the mountain. Back down. Back to our start and finish line. Now, given that our races are fairly short, I don't think temperatures are going to change too much throughout the race. It's possible that track temperatures could still go up, even if it is this late in the day. Up the mountain they go. Through turn 2. Watching all the drivers there. Now these opening laps are going to be incredibly crucial. Track position, like I mentioned, is key to success here at Mount Panorama. It's incredibly hard to pass, especially if your car is a bit underpowered in the top speed category. You're going to see cars like the Aston Martin and the Ford. They're going to be really strong down the straights. So if they're in a battle with someone, if they're in the lead of that battle, they're going to have a much easier time keeping that lead if they can keep it on the straights. And no pit stops for our drivers. 30 minutes, there wouldn't really be any need for a pit stop anyway. Larson's speeding it up a little bit here. Towards the line they go. Now, looks like, I don't think they're doing any single file stuff yet. Or sorry, double file stuff yet. I think when they get closer to the chase, that's when the game is going to ask people to line up 2 by 2. We have, looks like 28 people in the chat today. Or sorry, 28 people in the server today for the race. And I must echo Nacho's sentiment there. Honestly, me watching all these races as well makes me want to race. That's part of the reason why I'm practicing, because I'm hoping to race next season. Don't tell Portis. You know, it is always possible. I think you're going to see some dicey moves from people, especially in the lower categories. You're going to see people try to make moves where new moves are maybe ill-advised. So it's going to be interesting. There is always some good action. It's going to be key for our drivers to maintain their composure, though. Because this is a sprint race, they've got 30 minutes. If they mess it up, at the beginning, they're going to be struggling for the whole race. It'll ruin their race basically if they mess it up in the beginning. So it's going to be key for our drivers to stay safe in these opening laps. Drivers rounding that final turn, and we should be green here shortly. And there we are. We are green. Larson has the inside line, but a good jump from the NSX of Skylar Loverink. Loverink will just file in behind Larson there. We're going to move back between, through all of the rest of our drivers here, making sure everything is clean. It looks like we are clean so far here at Mount Panorama. Larson has to go on the defensive now. On the inside, really takes it nice and narrow, gets a good exit there. Any chaos in the back at all. Looks like we're clean so far. Gosh. Dustin Reed is spun around. Gosh is spun around. Adam Lynch is clear. It's just, it looks like Dustin Reed and Rajdeep Ghosh there getting into a bit of a tussle. Larson leads the way. Down over Skyline they go. This is what I was mentioning. It's going to be crucial for our drivers to maintain their safety in these opening laps. As you can see now, Ghosh and Reed are way behind the rest of the crew, and with no pit stops, it's going to be very difficult for them to make up that time. Down the chase they go. Larson, Loverink, Clifford staying in the pack there. Let's look at the gaps between our drivers here. Within a second for all of these. St. Urs is dropped back a second from Clifford, but Mosley is right on him there. Loverink close in the braking zone. Taking a look, Kaylor Nicholson battling with Chase Gordon here. Chase Gordon looking good in that Aston Martin. 3/10 back. Easton moves up. Pallord. Pallord goes into. Let me see if I can actually find him here. Trying to get Victor Pallord. Dropping down the order, had a bit of contact. Looks like there was contact between the 55. Kyle Easton was in that contact there, and looks like the 23 car had some contact as well. 23 crowd of Rodney Easterling. That might be something unrelated. Let's look at Christopher Larson here. Just make sure that everything is looking up to snuff. Looks like things are looking good. Let's go back and see what happened, that incident with Victor Pallord and Easton behind. So as they come to the start-finish straight here, looks like Easton's close in the braking zone. Easton looks on the inside there. Ooh, not sure where he was trying to go there. Maybe outbraked himself a little bit. Tried to go on the inside, and looks like Victor Pallord just kind of crossed him out of that equation pretty quickly, and there was contact. Larson pulling a gap over Loverink here. Lacoste looking awfully quick. Larson with another fastest lap there of the race. Jeff Collins moving ahead of Lacoste there. Lacoste drops back. Christian Dubé. Ooh, some drivers off there in turn one. Larson up the hills, lost some time down those straights. Rodman gained a position on Glenn Pinio there. Reed Easton dropping down. Contact between Easton and the 29 of Matthew Reed. Awfully close battles here, but I'm going to go back and see what happened between Easton and Matthew Reed there. Down towards turn 1 they go. Reed looking on the inside, looks for the move there, and there was really nowhere. There was some room to go too wide, but that's a tough part of the track to want to try and make a pass on. Now, Loverink is looking awfully close as they go down towards the chase here. NSX has some fairly good top speed, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Ooh, and going wide, Loverink looks for an opportunity to make that move. He'll go wide, and he'll rejoin fairly safely. But that's going to lose him some time, and now Clifford is coming in behind. Clifford looks on the inside, not going to make the move, though. Too risky. Now that was a close move from Skylar Loverink. Tries to make a move on the inside, but outbreaks himself a little bit. And that causes him to lose now a second and a half to Larson in front. He is gaining some time there, but that'll give Larson just the breathing room he needs to really run away with this one. Jeff Collins now has been re-overtaken by Lacoste, but he's still on the tail. Kyle Easton behind with his good rival from last race, Dubé, in the Porsche as they go towards turn 2. Like I said, a tricky part of the track right here to try and make a pass on. Oh, Dubé goes wide. And I think he may have hit the wall there. Doesn't look like there's anything. Number 80 car, Matt Lung, and the number 80 car, Matt Lung, off track. A little bit of an incident for him. Yeah, I'm sure the stewards will take a look at that incident with Victor Pelord and Kyle Easton at the end of the race. And we've got some love for Steve Sinors here, looking really good. Easton and Dubé dropping down the order, it looks like. Was there more contact? Easton and Dubé. Let's see if we can find out where those guys ended up. They're in the pits after some issues there. The 71 and 87 car. Let's take a look at what happened there. Up the mountain they go. Easton ends up okay there. Goes wide, loses the car. Oh, and there was contact there between Easton and Dubé, and that'll be seen probably as a racing incident, sadly, for our good friend Dubé. Race a little bit ruined by that. Yes, there is BOP. We are using LFM BOP. Feel really bad for Dubé there. Glenn Pinio trying to chase down our good friend Dale Rodman there. Now you can see Larson just pulling out an even larger gap. Now that that gap's been made, Loverink's already made the mistake, and he's going to be trying to come back at him. And now even Loverink has to worry about Clifford behind. Matt Lung. He's got Victor Pelord behind him. Victor's going to be looking for an opportunity here in a moment. Down the hill they go. Clifford looking close. Steve Sinors sticking with them well. Yes, I agree. I think the LFM BOP is one of the best things to come to ACC. LFM in general is one of the best things to come to ACC. Louis Sands with Lung and Pellord behind. Yeah, I hate to agree, but you're right, Bartlett. And he puts in a lot of effort to make that not the case. I think I think he just gets into unlucky situations, and there's not too much he can do about it. And it all comes with experience too, so learning from those experiences. Louis Sands, excellent speed from that. Excellent speed from that Ford down towards the chase. 3 cars go into it. Porsche looking on the inside. Louis is going to let him by. It's not his battle. Ooh, Porsche of Lung goes wide. That might be something we want to look at, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Victor Pellord there. Oh, and he gives that advantage back right away. So not going to be an issue there. Victor Pellord will move ahead of Lung and Sands. Augustine Detmir having an excellent race up there at the lead of the rookie class, kind of just in his own little little race there. Doesn't have too much to worry about. All right, we are 18 minutes 30 seconds. Ooh, Victor Pellord hits the wall there. He's not really racing these guys behind him, but he's going to want to try to make up some of that lost time. He's now 20 seconds back from Detmir in 15th. Shane Swearingen currently sitting P4. Glenn Pineo's got Wolf behind. Now both of these cars, the Aston and the Ford, have some good top speed there. Going back to our leaders. Lovering pulling a gap on Clifford. Nick Mosley having a pretty quiet race there. Glenn Pineo, back to him. Got a few drivers opting to just stay in the pits. Reed, Dubé, both in the pits. Gosh in the pits. Lynch in the pits. Kyle Easton is back on track. Always love to see that. Looking to try and improve. Glenn Pineo doesn't have the best exit there compared to Wolf. Wolf's going to be trying to... and actually Glenn's just going to let him by there. Knows that that's not his battle to race. So just lets him by. Try to avoid an incident there. Martin Mugarian, Shane Swearingen right behind. Let's go back to the Martin Mugarian and Swearingen battle here. Sands is having a good race. He's actually currently sitting P2, but this is the battle for the rest of those podium slots here. Swearingen and Mugarian. A lot of damage looks to be on that Porsche of Swearingen. Doesn't seem to be affecting his pace too much, though, as he comes up to the rear of Mugarian as they go up the mountain. Through turn 4 they go, and Mugarian hits the wall. That's going to give Swearingen that's going to give him P3 in the rookie class there. That'll give him a podium if he can keep it for race number 1. And he's going to be chasing down Louis Sands here in the Mustang. Can he do it? Looking pretty clean there, Shane, in that Porsche up on the top of the mountain. Looking fairly good there. Down Skyline as well. Good racing from Shaz there. Catching up to the rear of that Ford, and now he's within striking distance here, looking for that opportunity. Down towards the chase they go. Let's see if he can make a move. Now, this is where he's going to struggle, Shaz, because Sands has so much more power in that Ford. But with the power of the draft, he's able to stick close. And he's actually, I think, even closer than he was before they started the straight. So good use of the draft there from Swearingen. He's going to be looking for his opportunity here. Christopher Larson setting fastest lap after fastest lap, 2.5 seconds ahead. Dale Rodman has caught up to Karl Maurer. Even with the draft, though, that's where you're going to find a lot of troubles from Swearingen here. Because he doesn't have the top speed that the Ford has, even with the draft, the Porsche is going to struggle. He is going to go for it, though. On the inside they go. Oh, and he's just not close enough. Gets out of that draft. Doesn't have the top speed he needs to be able to pass the Mustang. We'll come back to that battle in a little bit. Now we've got Dale Rodman with Karl Maurer here in the semi-pro class. This is for P6, I believe, P5 and P6. I think Maurer touches the wall there on the exit of Forest Elbow, and now they're side by side going down towards the chase. I think Rodman's got a bit more pace in his Lamborghini, and indeed he does. He's ahead going into the kink of the chase here, and actually pulls fully ahead as they come down to the braking zone. And an excellent little move from our good friend. Excellent little move from our good friend Dale Rodman. Mr. Consistency. You know, I got to find a nickname for Dale because he really is Mr. Consistency. Mr. Clean Consistency. That didn't work as well as I was hoping because he's bald like Mr. Clean. But anyway, Mr. Consistency. Dale Rodman right there. Chase Gordon, Lacoste, and Nicholson. Three-way battle here. In front of them, Steve St. Ors. I think St. Ors has maybe had an issue. 96 car, yellow flag. Looks like he maybe had an issue because Nick Mosley moves ahead of him. Yeah, I would really agree with that sentiment. Swearingen has put in a lot of work to improve. Still got a lot of room to go, but don't we all have room to go? And I think it definitely shows in his lap times and his consistency. Swearingen has overtaken Sands, it looks like there. And Mugarian is actually in that mix as well. Was there contact? I don't know. The 44 car doesn't look to have been contact, but Bulgarian does get back into the mix there and takes P2 after that incident. Oh, no, and Shaz hits the wall coming up out of turn 4. He's going to keep on going, though. Actually almost uses that as a Ross Chastain move. Gets a little bit of speed coming up the hill there. Awfully beat up Porsche of Swearingen, but he's keeping it moving forward on the track. Chase Gordon having some issues there, letting Lacoste by. Jeff Collins gets by as well. I think he maybe went off track there. Yep, I believe he did. Jeff Collins currently sitting P2 in the semi-pro category. Let's see where some of these battles are. Swearingen and Mugarian. That gap is expanding. Indeed, it looks like Gordon has made a bit of a mistake. Honestly, Travis, if you want to be the broadcaster next season, I think we could set that up. It's a pretty easy job. Oh, it's not easy, but I don't know if easy, but I don't know. There's not too much that goes into it. Just have to be able to talk. Nicholson looking for a move on Lacoste here. Ooh, and Lacoste goes into the wall there. Oh no. Actually, no, that wasn't Lacoste. That I think was Steve Young. Lacoste is way further up the track. Nicholson now has Jeff Collins right on his tail. Oh, come on, Travis. I'm not convinced. I don't think you have a good enough excuse. I'm a driver too. And I'm doing this. We'll go 1v1, Travis. I'll get you. Jeff Collins close to Nicholson here. I think that was Steve Young having the issue on top of the mountain, and indeed it was a very beat up Ford of Steve Young. Calvin Wolf moves up ahead of Rodman, making some progress through the semi-pros. Working to just stay ahead of Victor Pelord there. Back to Jeff Collins in the Bentley. Getting some Bentley love in the chat. Chase Gordon right behind in this battle as well. This is the battle for the lead of the semi-pro category between Nicholson, Collins, and Gordon. Looks like Gordon is making the most progress on Collins here, but I think Gordon may have just touched the wall. And down the hill they go. Closer than they were last time. Pinio and Maurer. Some caution flags waving for those two. Rodman has moved ahead of both of them now. So Rodman takes P5 in the semi-pro category there. He's got some room to make up there between him and Collis ahead. Back to the battle for P2. Looking up at the leaders of the race, it looks like Loverink is holding to Larson fairly well, just isn't able to close the gap. Looks like Collins is just able to get slightly better lines through those corners there, giving him a better run down these straights. Gordon is sticking close, just I think getting caught up in that following mindset, not able to really make a move anywhere on track. A lot of room on the track for Gordon to take if he wants to. Pinio close to Rodman ahead. Coming up to some back markers here. Tricky to pass on the mountain. Pinio actually looking fairly racy here though. Looking good in that Mustang. Takes it nice and easy. Isn't able to get up and get that position very easy. Steve Young lets him pass. Has a bit of a harder time passing him. Oh, and we have some cars. That's Carl Maurer and it's Carl Maurer and the number 3 of Steve Young. Let's rewatch that one. Up the hill they go. Young lets him pass here. And I think Maurer was hoping for an opportunity. Actually, Maurer hits the wall there and spins them both out. So that's actually an error on Maurer, sadly. Just wasn't able to make that pass. Rodman and Pinio. Rodman's been able to get a little bit more of a gap there. 5 minutes left in this race. Swearingen's in the pits. Probably some terminal damage on his car. Comeback drive for Steve Sinors here. Coming up to the back of Nick Mosley. Looks like he's got the pace up the top of the mountain here. Easterling is able to move up in position due to Shane's pit stop there. Wolf has now moved his way up to Sean Collis here. Battle of our admins. Chase Gordon, Jeff Collins still battling out. We'll have to come to that here shortly. Looks like Wolf actually lost some time. Battle getting closer between Steve and Nick here. A Ferrari battle. It's like the McLaren battle this last week, but more wholesome and in GT cars. Chase Gordon looking for an opportunity to pass Jeff Collins here down the straight. It's going to be a risky move for Gordon here, but he is close. Closest he's been to being able to make a move. As they come back up the hill, I just don't think just doesn't have the pace to make it work there. But who might have the pace to make it work is Steve Sinors here. Larson currently forced elbow, so this should be coming up close to the white flag for a lot of drivers. As Larson comes down now towards the chase, when he crosses the line, white flag will be raised. We have an accident after the chase there. Number 44 car of Shane Swearingen. Let's see what just happened there. Looks like I think he probably outbraked himself. Yep. Indeed, that was the case. Chase Gordon on the top of the mountain. And now Steve Sinors at the start-finish straight. 2 battles going on here. 3 battles if you count Wolf and Collis. If Collis is going to let him by. Good friends here. Collis going to race him a little bit, but doesn't have the pace to keep up. Wolf will take the position. Some great battles here tonight. Indeed, lots of love for this track. I absolutely adore this track. One of my personal favorites. This is the white flag for these 2 drivers too, so awfully dangerous for our friend Nick Mosley here. First race for ZRL. Steve Sinors is looking for an opportunity to pass. He's within... Oh, he hits the wall a little bit there. It's not going to deter him. It's the last lap. He's got to give it all. Down through Skyline they go. Steve looking to try and close that gap, and it looks like he does. Oh, and there's a car spun around there. That's really, really risky and dangerous. Whoever that car is needs to get out of there quickly because that is incredibly dangerous. Ooh, and Steve St. Ors has to hit the wall there to get around the Ford Mustang there. That's struggling their way down Force Elbow, and I think sadly that traffic is just not going to play in Steve's favor. He's going to have to settle for P5 for today's race. Larson will cross the line, Lovering behind him. Jonathan Clifford crossing the line, P3. Mosley should get away with the P4 performance here. Great battles. Wolf will drop down a little bit. Looks like an issue from Wolf. Hit the wall, looks like. St. Ors and Mosley cross the line. Lacoste coming in a little bit further back. Mugarian's crossed the line. Sands has crossed the line. Glenn Pino moves up on Dale Rodman here. And to the line battle between Rodman and Pino. Here they go side by side. And it looks like Rodman will just eke it out there right at the end. Battle right to the finish line there, and Rodman will take P5 in the semi-pro category from Pino. Some great racing there. Still to cross the line, we've got Victor Pollord coming in, Karl Maurer, Matt Lung with Augustine Detmeyer behind. And last but not least, I think we have Kyle Easton, who after some incidents there at the early stages of the race has come back on track and gotten into one lap, just one lap down, and has just been able to manage, run a clean race, just try and prepare for the next one, really. And so, as he crosses the line, we'll get ready for what I believe will be a quick break. Let's return to the garage. Yep, we're going to have a quick 5-minute free practice, a break for everyone here. Once it moves into the free practice session, I can go through our winners there. Here we've got in the timetables for that race number 1, we've got Larson, Lovering, Clifford for our overall win, and in the pro class. In our semi-pro class, we've got Nicholson, Collins, and I believe that was whoever was ahead of Collins. I think it was Chase Gordon. Let's go back to this right here. Going to be moving into the free practice session. There we go. Yep, it's Nicholson, Collins, and Gordon in our silver division, and in our AM division, we've got Detmer, Mugarian, and Sands for our podium positions. All right, so we do have a bit of a break here as our drivers will opt to go out on track maybe for a lap or two. Just get a little bit more practice in. I'm going to leave it right here for the time being, give my voice a bit of a break, and I'll be back to you guys shortly with our qualifying session. All right, folks, so we've got a couple more minutes left, a couple more seconds left, I should say, of free practice here. Drivers will be looking to get their setups ready for qualifying. They got a 5-minute qualifying here. And there we are. Drivers are going to be looking to get out nice and quickly here. Because with limited time, a lot of these drivers may only have one chance to get a qualifying lap. And so incredibly important to get out there right away and quickly so you can maybe have the opportunity for two. One thing I noticed in the BMW is it's definitely true that after even one outlap and another maybe 2 laps, the car still wasn't really ready and in the optimal window. The tires were not in that optimum window for grip and for prime operating. So it was incredibly important to get enough time to do 2 laps, and you really don't want to mess up your outlap and that first hot lap, because it could massively affect your need to go back and possibly do another fast lap. So going to be important for our drivers out there today to in this qualifying session get a good lap in for the outlap and possibly try to get 2 fast laps in here. It's going to be really the best option for you, is if you can get 2 fast laps. That's going to leave you with the best opportunity. Watching Nick Mosley here, one of the first out on track, giving himself a little bit of space and going out for his hot lap. So it could still be an issue if they're not up to temp after the first lap still. And sometimes getting the temperature in a more steady window takes more than even the outlap, even in hotter temperatures. So while you're right, it's a lot easier in these hotter temperatures to get the tires up to temp. The second lap you will be better off. And I'm talking about, this is including your outlap. Your outlap counting as one of those laps. Your first lap after your outlap it could still have some temperature like cycles. The tire still needs to get into that window and get into a steady rhythm. And get up to the temperatures that you need it to, because you're going to be lowering your tire pressures due to the temperature here quite substantially, based when you compare it with what a lot of these guys were probably testing on, which was 22, 29 for air and track. So you lower those tire pressures, your pressures, which are really sensitive here, and it's maybe not temperatures so much as it is pressures. Maybe that's something I'm misspeaking a little bit here. It's more so about the pressures. You want to make sure your pressures are in the correct window in order to make sure that you have optimum grip at every moment and that you're able to set the fastest times. Christopher Larson goes fastest. Loverink right behind. We're already winding down the time here. Jonathan Clifford, Nick Mosley coming across P4. Calvin Wolf, he's going to be P6. Jeff Collins goes up ahead of those guys. Gordon goes faster than Collins. That'll give him an edge. Reed is able to set his time. Haven't seen a lot of our friend Reed today. I think he maybe got into some trouble in the first race, if I'm not mistaken. At the end of the day, we didn't get to see him as much as we'd like to, but Matthew Reed in the pack here with Easton in front. Easton's currently sitting P4 with a nice first lap. Qualifying is over already, so that quick qualifying session is wrapping up. Some drivers still in the pits have yet to set a time. Glenn Pinio, Rodney Easterling, Adam Lynch, Carl Maurer is in the pits. Detmeyer is in the pits. All of them are not going to get a lap out there. Lacoste has done his lap. He is done. P6 for Pierre Alexander. Larson to cross the line here, and he sets the fastest lap of the session. Loverink 3/10 behind. 3/10 is the margins between Christopher Larson and Skylar Loverink. Larson is on fire today in that BMW. Chase Gordon currently leading our semi-pro category. Jeff Collins is done. Dube is done. Nicholson still has an opportunity to set a lap. Rodman is out there looking to set a lap. He'll get one in there. Gordon is able to improve, but obviously not improving his standings currently. Steve Young out there on track. He's going to be one of our last drivers to cross the line. 31 car or 21 cars setting a lap. Kaylor Nicholson goes second fastest of our semi-pro drivers there. Steve Young and Swearingen here. And Swearingen bumps him right there into the final turn. And at least they'll get laps out there, which is a positive. But we do have a large portion of the field, Detmeyer, Maurer, Lynch, Reed, Pinio, and Easterling, that they opted to not set a fast lap, so they're starting at the back. Going into our order for the second race here, Larson and Loverink will again line up on the front row side by side. Next to behind them is Clifford getting P3 again. Then we have Easton, Pollard, Sinors, Chase Gordon leading our semi-pro category with Kaylor Nicholson, Lacoste, Wolf, Collins, Dubé, Mosley, Reed, Collis, Rodman, Lung, Gosh, Mugarian will lead our semi-pro category. Swearingen, Sands, Steve Young, Detmeyer, Maurer, Lynch, Reed, Pinio, and Easterling to round out the rest of the order. Another 30-minute race coming your way here, starting in about a minute and a half. I'd advise you to go get your chips, your popcorn, maybe some ice cream, maybe a beer, or a drink of your choice. Maybe a nice glass of milk, orange juice, a soda pop, whatever you want to do. Maybe your water is your flavor of the day. I don't know what it is. Get yourself something, sit back, relax. We've got a little time before this one. Let's take it down a notch. Let's chill for a sec. Maybe take a nap for like 5 minutes because it's late and we're tired. Whatever it might be. We now have a minute. Looking for the second race, though, Pro Division is looking awfully similar to what it was in race number 1. I think you're going to see a very, like I said, very similar result as to what you saw last race. If Larson can hold that inside line, he's not going to have a problem defending from Loverink, I think. He's just got the overall pace to succeed there. When it comes to our Pro-Am, our Pro-Am division especially, I think I just got a thing of cookie dough, and I am excited. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Hype Town. I just got cookie dough. Best night ever. See, I told you guys to go grab something to drink and a nice reward to yourself. Thank you to my beautiful wife for bringing me cookie dough. So, one moment. Sorry for that. But looking at the, yes, you're right, Landry. Tire temperatures is 26.5-ish, 26.4. I think is optimum, but you can range anywhere within 26 to 27. I think you can go as low as 25.8, and you're okay. At this track, though, I've heard tire pressures are incredibly delicate. Tire pressure can mean a lot for lap time here, especially on top of the mountain. But I think our rookie division, we could see some interesting things going on in our rookie division. And in our Pro-Am division, Gordon and Nicholson, I think, had an issue earlier in the race. And so Gordon's up there again. Collins is a little further back. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that semi-pro division there, because who was battling up there? It was actually it was Gordon, Collins. Who is leading? Why can't I remember who is leading the charge in that category? I'm blanking. I really am blanking. Guys, you got to tell me who won the last race. I forgot already. Was it Nicholson? Was Nicholson winning? I don't believe it was Nicholson. As they come around the final couple corners here, they'll go 2 by 2. And they'll line up for the start of the race. Like I mentioned, it's going to be critical for Larson to grab that inside line and hold it as long as he can. Cut off Lovering from making a move. Two by two they go. Jockeying for a little bit of that position off the start of the line. Loverink is pretty far ahead there. They're just trying to get as close to each other as they possibly can. And as everyone turns this final corner here, Larson is very far on the inside. Loverink is close, and they're green. Larson moves to the middle of the track, takes that inside line. Everything okay so far. Larson down the first straight they go. Accident in turn 1. Car number 3 and car number 117, Carl Maurer, and that's Steve Young. We'll go back and check that side by side. Our two leading drivers, a little bit of a touch there. And Larson will benefit from that, and even Clifford will get ahead of Loverink there. Easton almost capitalizes on that mistake as well. A little bit of contact between the 52 and the number 2 car there. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong there. Ooh, a big accident up in turn 3, it looks like. Looks to be an accident between 4 other drivers. 138, that's Sean Collis. We've got a bump from the 178, that's Rajdeep Ghosh. Number 5, Dustin Reed, Mugarian in that as well. A wall hit there for the 52 car. Loverink hitting the exit of Forest Elbow there. Loverink looked at the inside there, thought better of it. Looking at some positions gained here. Clifford gaining on the start. Steve St. Ors gaining on Victor Pelord. Accident between the 55 and the 99. Let's go back and take a look at some of these incidents here real quickly. Accident on lap 1. We've got Carl Maurer here and Steve Young. Steve Young is the car right ahead. Doesn't look to have been too much, just a little bit of a bump. Then we have an accident just a minute ago. The 55 and the 99 car. Through the chase they go. Looks like just some late braking there by the Ford of Glenn Pinio. Stewards will be looking at that one. Skylar Loverink still hasn't been able to get by Jonathan Clifford here. Doesn't have the top speed he needs. St. Ors is looking at Easton, thinking he's going to be a tasty treat to be able to eat up. Lung moving back. Steve Young currently currently leading a rookie class. Loverink makes the move on Clifford there. Wasn't able to see that one. But now Loverink on the chase. Calvin Wolf and Chase Gordon here. On the inside he looks. Not going to make that move though. Ooh, Chase Gordon gets a little bit uneasy there. Hits the wall. Ooh, and I think he hit Dubé there a little bit too. Chase Gordon falling back. A huge hit for Chase Gordon. Let's take a quick look at that one. That is a pretty large accident for him. So where did it go wrong here? Up the wall they go. Hits that. I think he hits that inside wall here, and indeed he does. And he just hits Dube on the entrance into the top of the mountain, and it looks like some cars behind him. Jeff Collins gets wrapped up into that as well. Unfortunate for our Bentley driver friend, but the race will move on. Kyle Easton has a bit of an issue there, gives up the position to St. Ors. Loverink with the fastest lap of the race now. Marginally faster. Sorry to hear that, Maurer. I saw you were in the pits. Christian Dubé. Closing in on Wolf here. Classes are much more defined in this race. Nicholson, Collins, Rodman staying relatively safe. Can really see where that Porsche shines here. You can see how close he's getting up the mountain here. So much more maneuverability, nimbleness in that Porsche when you compare it to that Aston Martin. Aston Martin has that speed advantage down the straight all day, yeah, but up this mountain portion, Porsche's coming alive. Wolf gets a much better exit out of Force Elbow there. Young has moved back a bit. Rodney Easterling now leads the rookie category. Loverink is closing the gap. Easterling on Pinio. I think Nick Mosley must have had an issue. He's currently down in 15th place. 160 car indeed did have an accident with the 29 car of Matthew Reed. Let's take a look at that. Didn't see that initially. Ooh, one car gets wild and then just accidentally hits Reed there, going through that tricky left-hander there. Unfortunate. Going to be some work to do for the stewards tonight. Matt Long looking to overtake Rajdeep Ghosh here. Rajdeep Ghosh, and that'll happen. Looks like there may have been an accident there as well. Do see we have one person who's left. Don't know who that was. Loverink was gaining, no longer is. Wolf on Pelord. Close battles here in our pro division. Pelord looking at a much better result than he was last. Wolf is on the inside, not going to make that move work though. Dubé looks on the outside there. Not going to have the speed on that Porsche. Got to tuck on in there. There they go. Up the hill they begin. One thing I didn't mention is if you're learning this track for the first time, and this I didn't mention in qualifying, if you're learning this track for the first time, the way that I like to break it up, and I've talked this over with Larson, and we both agree that it is a good way to break up the track is into 3 portions. Part 1 is the first straight with turn 2 and turn 4, which is the tight left-hander up the hill. That's section 1 of the track. Section 2 is the mountain, which goes all the way from turn 4 to Forest Salvo, which is where our drivers are right now. And then it's finally the chase, the final bit of the track. That is sector 3, or the third part of this track. And if you break it up into those 3 components, I think this track gets a bit easier to understand because you can really work on sectors 1 and 3 and try and benefit heavily in those sectors. And looks like maybe an opportunity for a move here. Wolf was looking close. 3-way battle for our pro class here. Wolf to the inside he goes. Dubé is looking for where he should be on the inside. Wolf and Pelord dips his toes into the grass there. And it looks like, I think Wolf is ahead going down the straight. Looks like Dubé will get in on that action too. Pelord loses 2 positions in one turn there. Did dip his toes into the grass there a little bit. Up the hill they go. Dubé's not on a good line there though, but since Dubé's on the outside, Pelord also has to compromise his line. Wolf will take the position. Now he's just got to get ahead while Pelord Lacoste is in there as well. Pelord Lacoste and Dubé, while they all battle it out. Speaking of the battle, also Kayler Nicholson is in there as well. So 5 cars battling here in the race for these top 10 positions. Easton with a yellow flag, and he is now found himself back in the pits, I believe. Actually, where did Easton go? Not able to find him. Kyle Easton has to go to the pit lane. Has an incident there. I think that's the number 80 car. Nope, that's the number 87 car. So we'll take a look at that in just a second. Yellow flag for Matt Lung though as well. Have to see what that's all about. Not actually sure what that's about. Oh, ooh, a little bit of an error there. Yep, that's what that one's about. Heading to our leader. Let's go to the 87 car of Kyle Easton. See where there was the issue up there. At the top of the mountain we are. Looking good. And I think, yep, just dips his toes onto the curb there. And the Mercedes doing Mercedes things there. Crashes the car at the top of Skyline. Heading back to this gaggle of cars here. You can even see in the background Jeff Collins, in the Bentley as the 5 cars come up the hill, down. It's a roller coaster, this track. Dubé looking to make a move now on Wolf after Wolf just made the move on Pelord. Pelord's still in this battle too. Don't count him out yet. Looks like they're matching the pace of the Aston Martin well. But on the top of the mountain they go. This train of cars. Settling into a bit of a groove here. Less than 15 minutes left to go in the race, so we're halfway through already. Looks like they may just line up here, just try and follow each other and stay safe for the time being. No point in getting into any major accidents just yet as Dubé goes off the road there a little bit and hits the walls. That's giving Pelord P6 there. Dubé will, hop back on track. Nicholson will take P8 from Lacoste. So it looks like an error from Lacoste there. A good friend of ours that we haven't heard of a lot here is the good old Dale Rodman, Mr. Consistency. Hasn't had any issues yet this race. He's quite a ways behind Collins, but he's holding P3 quite accurately, or quite deftly, I should say. Not accurately, quite deftly, our good friends. As he goes side by side with Matthew Reed there, gonna let him by on the inside. No use fighting him. That's not his battle. But our good friend Dale Rodman. Well, it looks like there may be some damage on the number 53. Nothing that's stopping him. He is currently sitting P3 and looking nice and consistent. Down the dipper they go, through the Shannon's barriers into the Bentley barriers. They go force elbow down the hill towards the chase. Oh, Rodman drops back a bit there. Rodman spinning. Oh no, I shouldn't have said anything about Rodman there, Mr. Consistency, because there was an incident there between Mosley and Rodman. Let's take a look at what happened there. Down the hill they go. Mosley is, I believe, the car in front. No, that's Reed in front. Mosley behind. Oh no, Mosley runs into our friend Rodman there and spins him around. That is really too bad. I don't think we'd blame Rodman on that one. We'll have to see what the stewards say. Now Rodman having to make up some time and get back up to Collis there. Lacoste coming up on the back of Dubé. Dubé's lost some time to Pelord. Pelord's still battling with Wolf. I think somebody hit the wall there. No, it's getting too late for me to really see things. I'm not going to lie, my eyesight's kind of going right now. I'm seeing double. My eyes are crossed. But we've got 10 minutes left to go, so we got to keep it going here as Pelord really hugging that inside wall. And you know, surprisingly, that's actually what you want to do at force elbow there. It's a little hard to see, but there's a ton of camber on the inside of that turn, and it allows you to actually be on the power a lot earlier with a lot narrower line than you're expecting. And it actually ends up being quicker in the long run because you can actually be on the power pretty quickly with all of that camber there. Helps you dig into that turn a bit and get that car rotated. It's just another example of something here at this track where, you know, just a small little change in your racing and driving can really help gain a ton of lap time. There's that camber on turn 1 there, camber on turn 2 up here, camber on turn 4. It's a lot of camber at this track. 9 minutes left. Lacoste looking for an opportunity to tackle Nicholson here and get up to Dubé. Rodman, another incident with Rodman and Pinio. Let's take a look at that here, and I think I know where this is heading already, and I'm really sad. I'm really sad about this. So yeah, ahead in the braking zone they are. Oh, actually there was no contact, it looked like there. I didn't see any contact. That was weird. I don't know why they said there was an accident there. Didn't see any accident there myself. Much better second race for Glenn Pinio, currently P4. Checking back in with our leader, Christopher Larson. Fastest lap of the race is a 2:01. Actually, his best lap is a 2:09, but it's 2/100 slower than Lovering's fastest lap. Lovering currently holding the fastest lap of the race. Let's run through the order of drivers here while we're doing it. Jonathan Clifford looking very comfortable in P3 there with Steve St. Ors holding on to P4. Wolf is currently in P5 with Victor Poulor trailing a second behind. 2 seconds behind now. Victor Poulor will be P6. Christian Dubé is sitting in P7, right ahead of Kaylor Nicholson, who leads our semi-pro category, and Pierre-Alexandre Lacoste, who is trying to chase him down and get ahead of the semi-pro driver in front. Behind our pro driver Lacoste, though, is Jeff Collins in the Boatley, doing his best to catch back up with this pack, currently sitting P2 in semi-pros. Then we've got Matthew Reed, our good ZRL admin friend. Nick Mosley coming over the hill as well. Sean Collis coming towards the hill. Up and over he shall go. P3 in semi-pro with Glenn Pinio in the Ford. What looks to possibly be the highest performing Ford so far this season. Up there in P4 for the semi-pros, using all that track. That's what we like to see, Glenn. Dale Rodman trailing behind P5. Leader of our... Oh, no. St. Ors hits the wall. And a yellow flag for him. Let's get a quick look at what happened there. And looks like he spun himself out. Coming down the hill again. Is he going to spin himself out again? Nope, he's going to keep on going. It looks like he's just going to go back to the pits with that one. Sad to see from Steve there. We were at our rookie division, though. Augustine Detmeyer, after not qualifying, finds his way back up into the lead of the semi-pro category. Martin Mugarian and Louis Sands trailing. St. Ors now in the pits, fixing up his car. Rodney Easterling Shouldn't have gone on to Rodney's cam because I think I might have jinxed him there. P4 in the rookie class. He's going to keep on going. He doesn't care too much. Rodney Easterling, Steve Young in the Ford. P5 in the semi-pro category, or in the amateur category, I should say. In front of him is Chase Gordon. Adam Lynch trailing in our rookie division there in the McLaren. And then last but not least, we've got drivers like Chase Gordon, Carl Maurer, Matt Long, who've got into accidents. They're all back on track, just looking to try and make up whatever time they can. Back up into this battle here. We've got 4 minutes left, so we're going to watch this until the end, I think. And it's all good, Easton. Just got to brush it off and work better next time. This is a tough track. It will eat up even the most skilled racers if they are not careful. So, fine margins here. Tough, fine margins. Also, Mercedes will do Mercedes things. I know you like the Merc a lot, but I struggle to find the balance in that car. Just feels a little bit too snappy for me in the rear when I'm least expecting it, on high-speed turns especially. Dubé looking on the inside, not going to make that move though. Wolf gaining a good advantage on these drivers behind. Got 5 drivers here: Pallor, Dubé, Nicholson, Lacoste, and Collins. All in this battle. And Nicholson doing a great job of sticking with these pro drivers here. That BMW does feel really good around this track, I will say, even in a default trim. BMW has always been a fairly good all-arounder, and this track, it's all the same. You know, it's just a great all-around car in my opinion. Pretty good at everything it does. Not excellent in everything, but yeah, just a great all-around car in my opinion. And being a track that really focuses on momentum, this car, the BMW, really thrives in that environment. Really likes to maintain momentum. White flag would be flying right now because Larson has crossed the finish line, and we got 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go in the race. With the white flag, that will mean that all of these drivers are coming around to their last lap of the race. And Larson now passing some lapped traffic as they go up the hill. Just trying to be extra careful here to not cause any collisions. He doesn't want to lose this to Loverink behind, but now Loverink has to go through that traffic. Up the hill he goes. Down a little dip. Into the top of the mountain here. In through Skyline he goes. Gonna have to watch out. There was a fairly slow car down there if I remember correctly, so needs to be careful these last few laps. Nicholson takes Dubé with an error. Lacoste will move up ahead. P7 for Lacoste. Dubé holding 2. Nicholson moving into P6. Excellent performance for him tonight. Now he's chasing down Pallord. three-way battle here as the cars jump down through the dipper there. Excellent little shot. And Larson now crosses the line. He will get the win. Behind him, running that final corner, is Lovering. Clifford will take P3. Moving back to this excellent little battle here. They come down to the chase for the last time. Nicholson leading the pack. Dubé didn't get the greatest launch. Collins right behind. Looking for an opportunity. Is he going to go for it? Doesn't look like he will. Wolf will now be crossing the line here shortly. Kaylor Nicholson, is he going to get overtaken in this last corner, though? It looks like it's a no. Collins moves ahead of Dubé, Christian Dubé, for brownie points there right at the end. Wolf, Pallord, Nicholson, Lacoste, Collins, Dubé crossing the line. Matthew Reed now rounds that final corner, P10. Nick Mosley coming up to the final corner. He will take P11. Rodman moves his way back up into P4 after Collis has a bit of an incident. Moves back to the pits. Augustine Detmeyer will lose out to Mugarian in the end. Missed that one, sadly. As Rodman crosses the line. Collins is in the pits. Easterling now coming towards that final corner here. Got a few more cars. It looks like Maurer and Chase Gordon will be the last two on the track here. Maurer coming through. And last to cross the line, but certainly not the last driver here tonight, is our good friend Carl Maurer. Back in the car after some early race antics, finishing it out, showing us the grit that he's got, crossing the line. And that will end our race tonight, folks. It might take some time for everything to sort itself out here. May just have to... Oh, actually, it sorted itself out right away. Let it move into the next free practice time here before I go to our timetables. And there we go. Race number 2, results from tonight. Overall win of the race is our good friend Christopher Larson. Lovering will come in P2, and he'll get the fastest lap of that race, with Clifford rounding out the top 3 for our Pro Division. Behind him we have Wolf, Pallord, Lacoste, Dubé, Reed, Mosley, Sinors, Easton. In our Silver Division, Pro-Am Division, we've got Nicholson coming away with a win today. Collins, Pinio, a good recovery after some issues there. But we're going to have to look at some of those incidents. Maybe some penalties in the works there, which is too bad to say. Rodman will come away with a P4 position finish there. Collis, Gordon, Maurer, Lung, and Gosh rounding the rest of our Silver Division. And in our Rookie Division, we've got Mugarian coming away with a win. Detmeyer coming in P2. P3 is Sands, Easterling, Young, Lynch, Swearingen, Reed, and Attenbury. That is it, though, folks. We've got the round 3 at Bathurst. It was not a night. It was a night not without carnage. The mountain will do that to you, and it'll do it to you unsympathetically. A lot of people sadly had their races ruined because of wall hits and stuff like that. Sometimes back markers, or even drivers just in front of you getting into an incident on top of the mountain, and there's nowhere you can go. It happens here. It really does. It's a tough track. It's a tough track to race on. When there's a ton of cars out on this track, it gets claustrophobic, and there's not a lot of room for error. and so provides a really unique and interesting challenge for our drivers. I think overall it went really well. I think everyone did an excellent job tonight. Congratulations, obviously, to our winners. Congratulations to Larson with a commanding doubleheader win tonight. Loverink with some great laps in there with the Honda. Um, and congrats to the rest of our winners as well in all of the classes. So, uh, like I said, tough. It's a very tough race weekend uh, here at the mountain, and yeah, drivers will be looking forward, I think, to a week off next week before going into round four. Round four will be at Spa. It's going to be a 60-minute reverse class championship order. So there's not going to be any there's not going to be any qualifying for next week. It's going to be a reverse championship grid, reverse class championship grid order race. Should provide some awesome racing and should be a fun one. 60 minutes at Spa, lots of room for drivers to make the moves there, and should be an exciting race. Going to be a sunset race. Going to be a sunset race for that one, and going to be no mandatory pit stops. So 60 minutes at Spa is going to be a tricky one for our drivers. Anyway, folks, my name is Shim. I've been your host tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you coverage of round 3 of the Galaxy Tour, season 15. If you like what we're doing here, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and join that Discord. You can find a link there on the home page of our YouTube channel. You're going to find the most up-to-date information on Zealous Racing League there at the Discord. And if you're looking to get into sim racing and have some questions, want some practice, want some training, we have that too, Practice Club, every week. And if you're interested in improving your racecraft, come on in. We're always happy to have new people. So anyway, though, folks, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I've been Shim. I've been your host. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you all stay safe out there. Have a nice week. And see you in 2 weeks for round 4 at Spa. Peace.